A man in Brazil got hacked back in April. Someone got into his Microsoft account and changed his security details, and Microsoft's response wasn't to help him get it back. It was to permanently delete the entire account. Every game he'd ever bought, every file he'd ever saved, gone. Their official advice to him was buy it all again. He didn't buy it again. He sued Microsoft, and 3 months later, he won. I want to walk you through exactly what happened because it says a lot more about digital ownership than you'd think from one Reddit post. The user's name on Reddit is Ordo Liberal. I'm hoping I said his name right. Back in April, someone hacked his account and changed the security information tied to it. Now here's the part that should actually worry you. He had two-factor authentication turned on the whole time. That's the extra layer of security everyone tells you to enable. It didn't stop the hacker from getting in. Microsoft's support team investigated and confirmed the account had been compromised, and their decision after confirming that was to permanently suspend it. Their own words were that it was unrecoverable by policy. Most people hear this and think, come on, it's okay, he's just lost his Xbox games. Like, okay, that sucks, but it's not the end of the world. Here's what a lot of people don't realize. A Microsoft account isn't just Xbox. It's one login tied to your entire digital life. OneDrive, sometimes your email, sometimes your office documents, all of that lives under the Microsoft ecosystem if you use their apps. So when Microsoft suspended his account, he didn't just lose his game library. He lost everything stored on his OneDrive too. Years of file gone in the same afternoon because of one security decision made by a support team that never met him. One account, one decision. And years of someone's actual life just disappears. And it gets more specific than that for his Minecraft library specifically. Support told him directly, and I'm reading this exactly as they wrote it, the game cannot be recovered. A new purchase will be required on a newly created account. Minecraft, the best-selling video game of all time, gone. Buy it again. Most people faced with that would just make a new account and move on. Honestly, you probably would too. I mean, what are you actually going to do against a company the size of Microsoft, a multi-billion-dollar company? Ordo Liberal did something different. See, Brazil has a strong consumer protection law, and one part of that means you can get a public defender for a case like this completely free. So instead of starting over, he filed a lawsuit. 3 months later, the court ruled in his favor. Completely. Microsoft was ordered to fully restore his account, every game, every file, every save data, etc., and pay him around $400 in damages. The court gave them 15 days to comply, or daily fines start piling up until they do. One person, one class action, no expensive law firm, and Microsoft lost. Now, why this actually matters? Here's the sentence in this whole story that matters most, and it's easy to miss if you're just skimming the headlines. This ruling says he owned his games, not licensed them. Own them. That's the exact opposite of what every platform tells you in their terms of service. Xbox, PlayStation, Steam, every single one of them says the same thing if you actually read the fine print. You don't own your digital library. You have permissions to use it for as long as the company decides to let you. You don't own a single digital game in your library right now. Not one. And most people never notice because the game just sits there working day after day until suddenly they don't. Court in Brazil just said that's not good enough. If you paid for something, a company shouldn't be able to take it back just because it's convenient for them. Now, I want to be honest about the limits of this because it matters just as much as the win itself. This ruling only applies to one person. It's not a new law, it's not a class action. Microsoft hasn't changed its policy for anyone else because of this. The reason this worked at all is because Brazil has genuinely strong consumer protection law, and filing a small claims case there costs nothing. Try doing this in most other countries, and you're paying a lawyer more than your entire game library is worth just to find out if you even have a case. So this isn't really a story about Microsoft becoming a better company, it's a story about what happens when the law is actually strong enough to make a company answer for something, which says a lot about the places where that protection doesn't exist. If this exact thing happened to you tonight, would you actually have a way to fight back? Be honest with yourself for a second. For most people watching this, the answer is probably no. So here's where I land all of this. One person proved that these companies can be held accountable. That's not just a nice idea, it's proof it actually happened. But it also proves the whole thing only worked because of where he happened to live. For most of us watching this, that same fight either causes too much or the law simply isn't built to help us. A win like this shouldn't depend on which country you were born in, it should depend on whether you paid for the thing. And somewhere in Brazil right now, a guy has his Minecraft account back and he saves. Genuinely happy for him.